Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Thursday, the 17th of July, 2025. I and my beautiful blue eyes are Delbridge, Benchmark Realty, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and this is your status chat. It's a little bit late getting into production because I just tell you the truth. We did some research, we got laid out, we said that won't take long, and then we started doing some other things. Now, I'm told by experts that say, never say or do anything that would make someone think that you would procrastinate even a microsecond. Well, it's not that. This is what we would call, if we were in radio or TV, as show prep. We just had a little bit more of it today. So let's get to our segments and get going. If you like this content, please go to CallDelToSell.com, find the tab that says on YouTube, click it, and it'll open up a page of QR codes. There you can use a smartphone to scan and get to the YouTube page, or you can just mouse over and click it on a PC. There you'll be able to subscribe to this little button over here and click the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you. Thank you. Well, let's start with the cost of money. We've had a lot of stuff going on. I know the last several meetings with you on recording that we've done, we've talked a little bit about how political the Federal Reserve System is and how it can affect the money. And it's not supposed to be. Our government is not supposed to be partisan, but reality says it is. And if you hold your head underwater, you'll drown. If you put your head in the sand, you'll probably suffocate, because you have to realize that's the way the world works. And, don't necessarily participate in it any more than you have to, but yet that's the way it is. And, just got to watch your money, got to understand how the climate works. So we're going to go to our first thing here. And this is called the CME's group. Just the CME FedWatch tool is what most people call it. And they are financial experts, recognized expert, often quoted by people in media. We're going to pull this up and we're going to see what they think the probability is that we will see the Fed change interest rates this next go around, because, we've had so much clamoring, and I'm not going to repeat it again, that we said we weren't, the chairman said he wasn't going to drop rates until we got to 2%, but then we had an election and then he dropped it 1%, and then they had, economic thing, but now it's all tariffs, and the world's going to end and the sky is falling. Hey, did you ever watch a video of, I'm sure someone has done one on, it was a book when I was a child, we didn't have videos. It was called The Henny Penny, the story of the little chicken that went around, the acorn hits her in the top of the head, and she goes around telling everybody the sky is falling. Turns out she's just a chicken. Anyway, I think we have some realistic issues here. People I don't know why you would push an entire nation one way or another just to get what you want, but here we got a little line, and we have it. If we bring it up to about this point on this one, it says that 97.4%, according to this expectation, that we will not change rates, because here it says current target rate is 4.25, 450, 4.25, 450. So they're not thinking there's much chance it's going to go down. So irregardless, I know some people like that word, irregardless of what the naysayers are about the economy's going inflationary, and we did see a little increase in inflation, but it wasn't significant. They're just probably going to hold it for a while. Now let's see what goes on. Anyway, that's it. Or if you like to be the other way around, we got a 2.6% chance, maybe according to the CME FedWatch tool, that we will lower it by 1/4 point. So I'll put this link in your description so you can go look it up. You can bookmark it and study it if you want to from time to time. I think we have about 2 weeks. Let's see, where are we going here? Yes, 12 days, less than 2 weeks away from the next FOMC meeting. All right, now here, I asked this question because I thought I saw a little notice of this in social media. But, you can't live on social media every day, and you got to do stuff. You got stuff to do. So I ask, is it true? Have they started looking for a replacement for Chairman Powell? Because he's clearly not been working for the people. Yes, the Trump administration has officially begun the search for a replacement for Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. I feel very blessed at this moment that we may be removed of him. The thing is, I think Jerome Powell got the job when Trump was president the first time. It's just he wasn't so openly Powell-y. All right, so here we go. It says several individuals are being discussed as potential replacements, including, because we're looking at this guy, Scott Bessent, Kevin Hassett, Kevin Warsh, Scott Bessent himself, Christopher Waller, current Fed governor, David Malpass. You know what Malpass stands for? If you were to break that down, Mal is, I think, French for bad, and pass is what? Step. So Malpass would be a bad step. Don't know about this guy, but I think that's what that name says. Anyway, you have a list of people if you want to look at them. The Trump administration's stated reason for looking for a replacement is a desire for a Federal Reserve chair more aligned with their preference for lower interest rates and a more accommodative monetary policy. Really, a president might look for a Fed chair or a judge or anybody else that thinks more like they do. I don't think it's really news, but hey, it's what AI says. Google AI says it, so it has to be true. But anyway, I want to look for this one right here because I think I've heard his name before, and he is in the trenches. He is back in the kitchen baking the bread. He knows how the sausage is made. Scott Bessent, and that's what my next tab is. It says, "Who is Scott Bessent?" He looks a little scary if you really want to know. If you really want to know the truth, in this picture, I'm not sure what state that is behind him, but that's obviously the American flag. 1962, such a great year for human beings to be born. I mean, this was just a terrific year. You know, it was a blue moon event of blessed births on the earth this year, 1962. So he's got to be a great guy to start with. The American government official and former hedge fund manager serving 2025 as the 79th United States Secretary of the Treasury. He was formerly a partner in Soros Fund Management. Ooh, I'm not sure I like that much. The only Soros I know gets a lot of bad rap for being kind of non-American interested. But there he is. Bessent graduated from Yale. Ooh, that's another one I'm not a big fan of. Yale or Harvard, either one, in 1991. And he was hired by the Soros Fund Management, so he obviously knows how to make the sausage when nobody's looking. That's a fact. Anyway, we go through here. Bessent served as the economic advisor and fundraiser for major donor for Donald Trump's presidential campaign in 2024. Presidential-elect Trump announced his nomination for Treasury Secretary on the second Trump administration. See, here's the thing that bothers me. I know when you're playing baseball, World Series, there's an AL team and there's an NL team, the National League and American League. And we normally have ourselves someone on either side or the other that we root for. And although I do like some of the things we got going on right now, a lot of the major ones, because he listened to the people, and I think the people ought to rule. But, looks like this guy is just going to be maybe it's just another guy out of the same swamp, a different gator. Maybe we got a crocodile this time instead of a gator. I don't know. I want to know what you think. And again, like I said, whether you have a D or an R isn't as important to me as just knowing how that particular team strategy is. Like I know some of you out here may be Tennessee fans, and I say that with a whisper. You may be Tennessee fans. Well, other people might be Tide fans. And you know what? We got a game to play, usually the third Saturday in October, but we got a game to play, and it's about strategy. And you do know that we have this group and this group over here. Neither one of them is going to be perfect, but yay. It's the game. We got a little pointy ball. We go 100 yards each way. So it's this team. I don't know if they'll take him. I don't know this guy. If we were to go back and look at some of these others' names, which, I'm not going to really do that because I think I've prattled on enough. I just want to say, yes, we have hope on the horizon that they might find somebody that thinks more like Trump does for the economy. If he can get that cut loose, I think the other guy is truly just being kind of, you can't really say jerk on the air, but he's not being a very pleasant guy, and he seems to contradict himself, Mr. Jerome Powell, and I don't know why he's so angry or hostile towards the president and our nation, and so very friendly to the bank. So we might come back at some point. We get a little further down the road. We'll keep our ears open for this guy, National Economic Council, Kevin Warsh. He's an insider federal governor, former federal governor. So he's been out maybe since it's got the word former there. This guy, we just talked about Christopher Waller. I know this guy. So I think I may have read some of his predictions in the beige books, his reports from his area. I don't know where he's from. He may be up from the Northeast somewhere. David Malpass, Trump administration official ex-World Bank president. So yeah, we'll just have to keep our eye on that, see if we can maybe focus on the goal and not so much the game. You know what I'm saying? Focus on the goal, not the game. All right, let's get to our numbers for this week. Hello, I'm Dale Delbridge of Benchmark Realty, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. If you are currently unrepresented and would like to know how to compare up to 3 properties side by side and room by room, then go over to my new YouTube channel, CallDelToSell. That's 1 L and Del, no spaces. Watch the demo on Real Scout and then call me and we'll set up your exclusive ad-free account today. So what did we just learn from all that prattling on? In less than 2 weeks, we should find out if we're going to drop the rates. And it doesn't look like we are. There's nothing showing to go up. So it looks like business as usual. We did have the CPI, which I didn't show you, but the CPI went up just a little bit. Not bad. I kind of anticipated that. If you follow me on my personal page on Facebook, you would have seen that discussion. So I don't really see anything that's beyond expectation. So I don't expect rates to change. And so we're going to run toward the fall before you know it. So we've got to get together if you want to get a house prepped and get it ready, cleaned up at the show and all that before we run out of the green season. All right, let's look what we did last week. 7/10 of 25. We had 27,997 on the opportunities. That was up over the previous period. We had 45,89 in the under contracts still showing. That came down just, well, no, that actually went up, but the ratio came down to 16. This week we had 28,383. That's up a little bit, but that's not about 500 or so. And then we had 45,63. That came down, 25 or so, less than 30, I'm sure, doing mental math. The ratio remained the same at 16%. So we're not really seeing anything. We're not really seeing a lot of movement in one direction either. We're not diving toward the left or the right in this case. We're headed kind of straight down the middle where we are. The road is winding, and it's a long and winding road. And before I break out into song, I'm going to let you go. Appreciate you watching. The ones who do, the few of you who do, you give me a reason at least to give this a shot, to try to present some information. And we'll see you next week. Bye.